sports entertainment.
Hey, I'm Double J Jeff Jarrett. That's right. That's Jeff Jarrett. E-double-T. That's Double J Jeff Jarrett. And right now, tune in to Turnbuckle Tavern. Now choke on that, slappies.
It is time to get raw. It is time to get down. It is time for the RAWDOWN, the number one source for all things WWE, right here at the Turnbuckle Tavern. I am your host, Young Anthony of the Independent Epicenter. Joined with me, as always, are my fine co-hosts in crime. We have the MVP Marco of the Chick Foley Show, and of course, we have
you looking at the real deal now. D-Lo Bone in the house.
Low bone. That's a good one. That's a good one. You also had a good one that we should acknowledge for the Double or Nothing predictions. What was it, J-Bone?
The premier podcaster, Boney Nice.
Premier podcaster. That was a very good one. Gentlemen, how are we doing on this fine Tuesday evening?
Oh, we're doing great.
Good. I got to be up in about 3 hours for work. So
yeah, you're gonna cut it short for us tonight, but we had to get you on because we have a loaded show. Of course, we're going to start things off with our Hell in a Cell predictions. You know, this is, of course, our chance to get the RAWDOWN Championship back from Tom. We're hoping that Tom's going to come tonight. I mean, if he doesn't, we might have to.
I do have his predictions.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh, come on.
I forgot to mention that he gave them to me. So
what a sly dog!
He's being stripped of the title. That's it.
Yeah, I know. He needs to put the title on President Sneed's desk, even though he had 8 hours to make his prediction.
Yeah.
We need to have a tournament for the new title.
I know this is a little early, Money in the Bank. I kind of put this in the group text and I got no response, but I'm going to put it here live.
Okay.
So next month is Money in the Bank. So maybe we come up with some type of stipulation that if somebody it's got to be difficult, right? If somebody gets maybe both Money in the Bank winners correct, they actually get a briefcase and they can cash it in on the champion at any time. What do you guys think about that?
I like that idea. So you have to get both of them right.
Yeah, maybe we get both of them, but you can cash in on a Raw. Of course, you got to let them know. It's not like surprise because you got to. But you could cash it in and then
we'll think about that.
Maybe on a random Raw, random. I don't know. We'll formulate that idea a little bit. So.
Well, we're all going to have to figure that out before tonight because, of course, Hell in a Cell predictions. It all comes down to this. Will we be able to get the title back? Tom, of course, is holding it, and we have Tom's predictions, so we have a great night of predictions ahead of us. Speaking of Money in the Bank, a grand downgrade. Money in the Bank goes from Allegiant Stadium to the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. We're going to be talking all about that, what our thoughts are, because we definitely do have some thoughts. And finally, we're going to wrap up today's show by talking about Monday Night Raw, Seth Rollins promo on Cody Rhodes. We have a lot of thoughts. Marco said that he had some thoughts on this one, so I'm looking forward to hearing what all of us say. But with that being said, we are going to kick off today's show a little differently. Usually we end the show with them, but this time around, of course, J-Bone's not here for too long, so we want to get him out of the way. Hell in a Cell!
Hell in a Cell!
We're going to be giving our predictions for Hell in a Cell. Before we do, and this is going to be a quick segment. We're not going to waste too much time. Give the prediction, give your thoughts, and get the hell out of here. But I do want to get a little bit of our thoughts around the table on how's your hype levels from a 1 to 5? What are you feeling for this year's Hell in a Cell event? J-Bone, we'll start with you on this.
Man, I said I know we're going to talk about it a little bit with Seth's promo. I think there's some solid matches. I know everybody paints me as the WWE mark. I don't know why, because I shit on both companies. Also, I promote both companies. But I have to say about a 7.5.
Okay.
I'm pretty hyped for this, not going to lie.
Huh.
I dig it. Marco?
Man, I have a feeling there's going to be some more matches added come Smackdown on Friday, so it might be a little bit a longer card. I'm assuming Ronda Rousey's going to be on there. They're going to whether it's a championship match or not, it might be a tag match
Maybe.
with Raquel. So who knows? But I mean, judging by that, I'll say 6.5.
Okay.
I'm not too thrilled. I mean, it's a smaller pay-per-view. It's not. I mean, usually these are the ones that these pay-per-views that aren't really. They don't seem really great on paper. They usually ended up like being one of the best pay-per-views or one of the better pay-per-views that you'll see. Premium live events.
Premium live events. You're usually the one to get that right. All of us get it wrong.
Yeah. I'm hoping.
It's-
I'm hoping
it's
it
pay-per-view.
surprises me. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, you're definitely right on that. I mean, over the last few pay-per-views, it's always been the meme on Twitter is like, oh, this is a glorified house show. And then it comes out to be this amazing event. It happened even for WrestleMania. It happened for WrestleMania Backlash. It happened for a lot of these events.
Backlash was solid.
Backlash
WrestleMania was solid.
A lot of these.
They've been on a pretty good streak lately, so.
Yeah, even though, of course, Joey Styles.
But I'm not good enough to call Backlash.
I was looking for it. No, so with that being said, I had to get your name right. D-Low Bone. I'm going to go
Looking
with
at the real deal now.
I'll go with a 7. I'm pretty excited. Well, I'm excited because of what happens or the matches that were confirmed after Raw. Because now I think, with the full card all together, it looks really good. And I'm surprised that we only had Raw matches confirmed. Nothing from SmackDown. Maybe we'll get like a few, SmackDown matches confirmed. But I don't know, because usually you're seeing some shorter pay-per-views lately as far as the card, 6 to 7 matches. So who knows? But with that being said, I want to get right into these predictions. We're going to start off with a match that is now the third in its trilogy. And, a few matches that are a third in its trilogy. But this time around, it is a little different. We have a handicap match. MVP and Omos going up against Bobby Lashley. I thought this was going to be in the Hell in a Cell. It is not in the cell. But here we are. We have the third installment in this feud and hopefully the final installment. Who wants to kick us off? Marco, you want to start off with us?
Yeah, this is it's a 2-on-1, right? They're going. This is
2-on-1.
2-on-1 handicap. Man, so let's keep track. So Bobby Lashley wins the first one at Mania. We have Omos winning the second one at Backlash, WrestleMania Backlash. Man, how do we end this trilogy? Hopefully, it is a trilogy and it doesn't go to a fourth match. Man, I'm gonna go Bobby Lashley as the victor in this. I see him just getting rid of Omos and then moving on to hopefully somewhere in the mix of a title. The undisputed champion. We'll see what's going to happen. Maybe a number one contenders. Then get him out of that mid card limbo because he deserves to be in the main event. They're lacking in the main event section. So let's get Bobby, the almighty Bobby Lashley, with that epic, sweet new entrance that he has. Where he's standing on top of that cake. They should just have him burst out of a cake. It's
like a cake boss cake. I wonder how much fondant on that one. J-Bone, before we get into your prediction, I do want to call out. I totally forgot to do this. Let's call out our viewers because we have Sports Productions is in the chat. Thank you for joining us. You were here for Fig Night, and Fig Night had an amazing show. If you are here from Fig Night, drop a comment. Tell us what you thought of that show, and I hope that you enjoyed this show. Of course, Tyson's in the chat. It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. Hope you enjoy your prediction show. And comments, drop them in the comment section. Let us know who you think is going to win all these matches and play along with us because the RAWDOWN title is on the line. Jaden's here. Mo the Fig God is also here. We're having a great time here at the Fig.
Mo the Fig God's going to his first event.
Oh, look at that. He's actually going to Hell in a Cell. So he's going to be our eyes and ears for the event. So I hope you enjoy. Make sure you come back next week to let us know what you think. But until then, J-Bone, who the hell's winning this match?
Well, I kind of this is going to kind of go against what I said earlier, but not that excited for this match.
Okay.
It's mainly because I feel like this is going to be classic 50-50 booking here. Lashley won in WrestleMania. Omos a wrestler won at Backlash, and I just think you can't have Lashley lose. He's a former WWE champion. Like, what are we doing here? So Lashley. Yeah, and I think Lashley will probably enter like Money in the Bank is what I'm thinking he's going to be doing after that. So
that's a good idea.
I like that.
So
definitely after a feud with Omos, you need to make sure that you put him back in that main event spot. And I think Lashley, well, it's going to be a clean sweep here because I'm also going with Lashley. Well, at least from the three of us, we got to figure out what Tom's thinking. But Lashley, I think including MVP is really just for him to take the pin here. Omos, of course, needs some big wins. But I do think that he is fine to take a quote unquote loss, even though it's not at the expense of, it's not at his expense. It's more at MVP's. Also, I'm pretty sure this is the fourth installment now because we had the match at WrestleMania, then Backlash, and then the cage match.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
So technically, this is the fourth match, but
boy,
changing it up with a little You see,
well.
They like to change it up on us.
It's time to shake things up around here.
Yeah, pal.
I'm gonna still go with my pick because Lashley won on suspicious terms.
Yeah, it was kind of
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. Let's see what Tom said. What's his pick?
Oh, Tom. Shoot, sorry. Let's see. From the text message machine, we need the anonymous Raw general manager here. Sorry, I should have been prepared. I'm pretty sure it's Lashley. If I could find the text.
Killing the dead time.
Yes, Lashley. Lashley. Sorry.
Beautiful.
Hey, I'm over here inputting our answers into.
Yeah, I'm helping you out here. We got some dead time, but I'm gonna kill it. Anyways, speaking of kill it, there's two things that the dead time and Mustafa Ali's push in WWE has had, and that's they're dead. Mustafa Ali versus Theory for the United States title. This was weird on Raw, right? Ali wins a qualifying match, and then Theory fights him anyways. I don't get it. J-Bone, we'll start with you.
Well, this might be my downfall here, but I'm going to go with it. I'm going to say Ali wins the United States title here. Or at least wins. Because he could win by disqualification and count out.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say he's gonna at least win here. And if he ends up winning the title, I think they're just gonna be playing hot potato with it for a little while.
Hot potato.
So that's what I'm gonna go with is Ali.
I feel it. Marco.
Yeah, this one I kind of went back and forth. It is kind of abrupt. It is a kind of like a match made on the whim. And Ali hasn't been back too long to grab the title, so man, I'm gonna go with Ali as well. Just because I just think he needs a win over Theory, be it a disqualification or championship win, just to get him back up in that up in the good graces there.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, if Theory beats him clean, that's gonna kill any momentum.
Yeah, because I mean, like, there's got to be some reason why Ali came back. I mean, there's something that they said, hey, we're gonna do this.
Right. What was Tom's pick?
He's going with Theory.
He is going with Theory. Yeah. Well, I'm actually also going with Ali.
All right.
I think it's at the point where even Vince doesn't see the United States title as a big thing. So for him to put it on someone who he feels is the next big thing, I feel like it's kind of just a consolation prize for him. He's probably saying, "Oh, pal, you're gonna get the big one. You're gonna get the big one. You don't need the little one." Have you ever seen Chris Jericho, his story about facing Fandango? and he was like, yeah, I didn't want to face Fandango. I was giving him all these different ideas. I was like, Vince, you have Wade Barrett. He's a great Intercontinental Champion. Why don't you put me up against Wade Barrett and I can become maybe a 10-time Intercontinental Champion? And Vince just looks at him and he goes, nobody gives a fuck about the Intercontinental title. That is the exact definition.
That hurts my soul, man. That hurts my soul.
Oh, man. That's great.
Look, I mean, I think it makes sense for Ali to get the title. I mean, he's looked terrible in this feud. So unless they're going to make him look terrible in the match, I think you have to give him the U.S. title. And Theory can just become a multi-time U.S. champion. I mean, I know we have some comments here of Sports Productions. He says that Theory has not been champion for long enough.
Yeah.
That's very true. But at the same time, he can lose it. He can win it. He can become a multi-time champion. So who knows? I'm going with Ali. I think we're all going with Ali besides Tom. So this is the first time that we get a little interesting with our picks. Before we move on, though, I want to get to this comment also by Sports Productions, as he says, MJF show up at Hell in a Cell. Now, of course, we are the RAWDOWN, but I think we have to address the elephant in the room. MJF is WWE bound. I'm kidding.
He is WWE bound, but not this Sunday.
Not this Sunday.
He could be in attendance. He might be sitting in the
he could be in the crowd with tickets. That would
have a ticket.
Like the Highlanders in TNA.
Yeah,
I completely forgot about that. Yeah, we won't see him this week. Maybe Hell in a Cell 2024. That's a little more.
January 1st, 2024 is his contract in. But
I know.
That's whenever.
We're not the AEW podcast, but geez, he did not look like he wanted to be in that match at all. Not you could tell. It was basically just like before the match. Here's one picture of what happened in the back. Here's what's gonna happen. You're just gonna go out there, take 5 power bombs, and that's it. Done. You can leave it whenever you want. All right, cool. And then he just took that and just. I think that's
Tony said. You know what? Take another 5. Take another 5. That's his walking out.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fine. Fuck.
I don't care. I see a punk. Now. I don't care about you, MJF. You can leave if you want. No, I'm joking.
You know what? I'm actually gonna lessen your contract. You're gonna get even less than anyone on the roster. Yeah.
That's a pretty good Tony Khan impression.
Oh man. All right.
Anyways, let's get back to predictions.
Real quick, I can see Royal Rumble 2024, the 28th entry.
Oh man,
I
can see that.
That would be something, all right.
I
wonder how they would debut him if he was going to be in WWE.
It's Royal Rumble. It's got to be Royal Rumble if his contract
is
at the
Rumble, I would assume. Or it could be a Mania.
Could be, Raw, bring back the Raw after Mania feeling.
Yeah, right.
Have to show up on Raw.
Oh boy.
Anyways,
let's actually get back into the predictions now. In one of the most surprisingly fun and interesting stories, post Mania, we have Ezekiel going up against Kevin Owens. Finally, we get the one-on-one match that we all have been waiting for. And I'll kick us off this time around. Like I said, this has been a very fun contest between these two. Throwing in Alpha Academy has also sweetened the pot because now, Chad Gable and Otis, they're great. Kevin Owens has been phenomenal in this comedy role. He just plays it so well. And even Ezekiel is really shining in this. Elias Ezekiel, whatever. With that being said, obviously we're going to have to go with Ezekiel here, be it with a surprise roll-up or some type of shenanigans. I think you will see Ezekiel win. And I think we'll still see the story going because there's no way that you could just drop it without seeing some inkling of Elias. Will we see it this Sunday? That's another question we have to think about. But with that being said, I will stick with the safe pick of Ezekiel. Let's go with J-Bone.
This one's hard. This is probably the toughest one on the card to predict for me anyway. It depends on where they want to go with Ezekiel. If if they're going to continue like the charade where all the heels be like, "You're Elias," you know, and then slowly fade it out, then I could see Ezekiel winning this. However, KO kind of does need a win here. I think he's supposed to be going up against Cody coming up soon too.
Is he? Okay.
Not this SmackDown, but the next. I think he's being groomed for that. I'm kind of thinking that might be like a Money in the Bank qualifier match or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it has anything to do with the story. That's what I'm going to go with anyway. But I'm going to go with Ezekiel.
Yeah, safe pick. Marco. You're muted, Marco. We can't hear you.
Oh, geez.
Look at you.
Yeah, so my thing is after WrestleMania, I mean, he main evented with Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, anything he does after this doesn't really matter. Like how I mean, what else do you do after this? Like
What?
Exactly. So he can pretty much just do whatever he wants now. It's like that's the pinnacle. Like he main evented WrestleMania against
Pinnacle, MJ.
arguably one of the greatest or the greatest superstar in the history of that company.
What?
I'm definitely going Ezekiel. I mean, I can see him, losing to Ezekiel and then showing up on SmackDown just completely pissed off. And just taking his anger out on Cody and stuff like that. But I'm waiting for when they get the WWE production crew to do like the makeup and stuff and get Ezekiel a fake beard.
Right,
so
get his beard.
Show up on the screen as Elias while Ezekiel's in the ring. I think that's going to happen at some point.
I wonder if they could pull off the beginning of the night. Elias comes out and he has the beard and everything, and then later on in the night shaves the beard quick, puts on his Ezekiel gear. I'm waiting for that. Like you see one variation top of the night, another variation bottom of the night. I think that would be hysterical. Let's get to some comments real quick. Tyson calls him Eli Ezekiel. Very clever, Tyson.
I like that.
And Chad is here. Thank you for joining us, Chad. Turnbuckle Tavern himself. Best story in WWE. I would say it's up there. I would say there's one story above after this Monday. But we'll get there eventually.
Something about it. It's a goofy story, but it's
it works.
Intriguing at the same time.
It's because of Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is bought in on it.
Well, I mean, it's everyone involved. It's because of Alpha Academy. It's because of Ezekiel. But I think Kevin Owens is that glue that's really making it all work. Amazing.
Yeah, you got to give Ezekiel his due too. He's doing really great at being kind of convincing that he isn't. That he's never Elias and stuff like that.
I mean, he's bought into it too,
Yeah.
So
can we just mention how good Raw has been just in the after Mania? It's been phenomenal. They have been a consistently great show. They have when Chad said, Ezekiel and Kevin Owens is the best storyline. I thought of one storyline that might be better, but now I'm thinking of two stories that might be better. It's just a testament to how good they've been. So props to Raw. They really put some effort in there. I hope that they get SmackDown up there soon because SmackDown used to be the show, but now I think Raw's taking it. So
it's not good. SmackDown's not good.
Yeah, it's definitely seen better days. Anyways, let's get back into the predictions as we are going ahead with the Raw Women's Champion.
Just real quick.
Tom. I forgot about Tom.
Tom's the champ.
Tom has Kevin Owens winning.
Ooh, of course. He's got to change it up. Does Tom like the Ezekiel whole thing? I feel like there was someone that didn't like it. Or was it you, J-Bone? You changed it up.
No, I liked it.
I feel like you liked it. Maybe it's Tom.
Yeah.
I think
Tom. I don't think it was top story, but it's fun.
I could tell Tom hates that storyline.
I don't get it. Why is he Ezekiel? He's obviously Kevin. He's obviously Elias.
He's clearly Elias.
It's because you watch the sports entertainment.
He's like the Ultimate Warrior without no face paint.
He's not no Roddy Piper. Oh, Tom. Anyways, let's get into the Raw Women's Championship. We thought it was going to be Bianca versus Asuka, which would have been actually we thought it was going to be Bianca versus Naomi. Let's get that out of the way. But then it turned into Bianca versus Asuka, which would have been a fun match. We got it on Raw, and then we got Becky included in the match. So now it's a triple threat: Bianca versus Asuka versus Becky Lynch. Let's actually start with Tom. We've been, joking around with Tom a little bit. Who is he going with?
So this one, we also have a bonus question. Who's going to take the pinfall
Ooh.
as well? So he's got Bianca winning, retaining the title,
Okay.
and Asuka taking the pin.
Asuka taking the pin. All right. Interesting. I'll go up next on this one. I feel like Bianca's still on a roll. I don't think you can take that title off of her just yet. Had one of the better matches on WrestleMania, has just been consistently one of the best, not even women's wrestlers, but just wrestlers, period, in the WWE, and even out of the WWE. She's just, at the top of her game right now. Of course, the story, I think I'm interested to see, Marco, we'll get to you in a minute, but I'm interested to see like what you've been thinking of Becky lately, because even though her gimmick is kind of, still the same with wacky, Seth Rollins-esque, she's kind of taken a different route with it.
Yeah.
That I'm kind of liking a little bit more.
Yeah, I have to agree.
I think she's getting like, into it a little bit more.
Honing in.
There's a little bit more detail involved too. Like, even Becky's been rocking like the little green streak in the hair that when she got the mist, I think that's really, she was wearing at like the house shows and shit. Like I thought that was really cool. So there's definitely some type of story here, and I'll be going with Bianca as well, but I will go with Becky taking the pin because we already saw her eat the pin at WrestleMania, and Asuka just came back, so you don't want her to lose right away. I wonder what they're going to do with Asuka. I don't know if you could put the title on her right now, at least with Bianca as hot as she is. But with that being said, I'll go with Bianca winning, Becky taking the pin. Marco, go at it.
Yeah, no, well, I'm actually glad you actually brought that up about Becky. I could definitely tell that they're definitely going a different route with her as far as I'm going to say the in-ring, not the in-ring work. I'm going to say the in-ring promo stuff. Not heavy on the promos a lot, really. A lot of like there's a couple of backstage segments and stuff like that, and she's been on commentary, and I think it helps if she can play off of that, where she's not standing center in the ring with somebody having a promo. Obviously, she can't promo with Asuka, because Asuka's just going to take over with her, her energy. So she's kind of safe in that sense, but definitely she's been awesome on commentary. She's definitely been doing a great job, like you said, leaning into her new role there. I think with her and kind of Seth almost doing the same type of gimmick with the being like all fashionable and stuff like that. You don't want to both be that annoying, like laughing at everything and trying to be the most abrasive. I think she's taken that, but then taking it back a little bit. So she's going to still wear whatever she's going to wear, but she's going to be more subtle in that approach, which I definitely like.
Definitely
talk about on the show. She's kind of copying Seth Rollins, like when she came back, like crazy get-ups and being like all flamboyant and being like out there and stuff. Where people caught on. It was like just do something different, but she is doing something different now, which is awesome.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like Seth anymore, which I think was the biggest critique.
Yes, yeah. She's like she's more subtle. Like she's taken back a little bit. She's more like she took all that stuff in, and she's just when she walks out, she's not like doing the Vince McMahon walk and like
right.
She walks out, she just stares at everyone. Like it, you can definitely tell there's a little subtleties and stuff like that. Storytelling, bro. Storytelling, bro. With that,
I make movies.
Could have said it better myself. With that being said, Bianca, I'm going with the win. For the pin, I want to go with. This is a hard one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Becky takes another pin though. That's the thing. I'm gonna go with Asuka for the pin.
Bianca Asuka.
Interesting.
Yep, Bianca Asuka. Mainly, only because she took the pin at WrestleMania, which is a big thing.
Right.
I'm not sure she takes another pin, and I don't think it's gonna hurt Asuka because it's a triple threat match. It anyone can get pinned. It's not like
Mhm.
it's a one-on-one match and she gets pinned. It could be something where someone hits someone else, she gets distracted, or she gets rolled. It could be anything, so it doesn't really like hurt her return or anything like that. And I'm pretty sure they're going to keep her in the title picture regardless. So
Yeah, I mean, you could, and to your point. So let me get my pick real quick. Bianca is definitely going to win this. She is the best women's wrestler, head over shoulders over any company right now. I don't care who you are.
it's a hot take.
I've said Bianca. I think she's top 20 best wrestlers in general right
Ever.
now.
Hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
I didn't hit the button because I disagree with you. I think it's just a hot take. A lot of people would disagree with you.
Yeah,
Really?
no, definitely. Yeah, a lot of people would.
Top 20. Top 20.
No, just in. Well, I think in any company,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you
it's
said
women's wrestler in
the
any
top
company.
women's wrestler, period.
like
Oh
better
no,
than-
absolutely.
You're saying better
Yeah,
than Charlotte,
I think
better
some
than
people
Better than
disagree
Charlotte.
on that.
Better than
Thunder,
Charlotte.
Thunder Rosa.
Thunder. Oh yeah, Britt Baker.
Wow.
Comment
Well-
section. Let us know who is the best women's wrestler of all time. Not
She-
all time, of right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now,
her
wow.
her promos there. Her in ring, she does stuff that no other woman can do right now. Her character work. I mean, it's hard to beat her. I've said this for a year now. In fact, you go check out one of our videos we did WWE our own WWE draft. I mean, I picked her like fourth. In our own WWE draft. I think
That's true.
I think she's the it factor, and that's why I was so aggravated with WWE last year with the women's
Yeah.
division. I felt like
Mhm.
I
That
felt
makes
like
sense.
they were doing such an injustice to her.
Right.
But I mean,
Who's taking
you
the
got.
Sorry. Continue.
No. I mean, I think you got to keep the title on her at least till WrestleMania, is my opinion. So
Wow.
yeah. So
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
So the pin is going to be Asuka for me, and I think a couple of reasons why. For one, like I said, Becky just ate a pin, and you can do it to where Becky kind of tries to cheat, and maybe hits Asuka with a move, and then Bianca hits Becky, eliminates Becky real quick, and then she pins Asuka.
Mhm.
And also, it would kind of continue to assert that Bianca dominance.
Right.
Like, hey, I beat Becky, I beat Asuka. So, and it, like I said, it doesn't really hurt Asuka to take a pin in a triple threat match. So that's why I'm going Asuka here.
If Asuka does take the pin, and I know the women's division definitely needs it right now, I would love to see a heel turn for Asuka. I
Yes,
think
she needs it.
there's only
She
so
needs
much
it.
you could do with like face Asuka. Like what she's doing now is cool, but she already did it during the pandemic, and it was like,
I want
okay.
that killer instinct, Asuka.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Evil
that's that
Asuka.
one side of her that I don't think we've seen in WWE yet. I think that could really go over well. So, and fuck, they need some challengers for Bianca if they're gonna let her hold on
And,
to the
please,
title for a while.
please don't put her with Xia Li for in the tag team division. That would be horrible.
Don't even,
like-
yeah. Oh my God.
I could see that happening because that would be like a cultural appropriation issue because Asuka's Japanese and
Yeah, I know.
Zaya's
That even goes
Chinese.
without saying they would do something
Yeah,
like that.
but
Yeah.
I'm hoping they don't do that. So
Yeah, she had when she was in Japan, she had I think she was a heel, Asuka. She used to have the sickest like face paint too. Like
Face paint, yeah.
yeah.
she did like the Joker type of thing where you had the smile all the way up here, and she had the dark circles around her eyes with the
Yeah.
that'd be awesome if they bring she brings that type of character.
I think it's overdue. They definitely need to
Yeah.
do it. I think even Edge was teasing it with his Judgment Day post. I think he posted Asuka with the face paint.
Oh man,
Oh, yeah.
imagine that. Ooh, geez, that'd be
So
sick.
part of me thinks we might see something like that. Let's get to some
Hopefully.
comments real quick. Sports Productions is still with us. He said, I think it's going to be Asuka, and I see them doing a whole thing with Asuka and Bianca. There you go. I think Asuka is going to be that next one up, which makes me think maybe we'll get Asuka to take the pin. But for now, I'll stick with Becky to take the pin here. Tyson actually agrees with me for once. Bianca will pin Becky. It's interesting. And then we get a comment from Chad here. To me, Charlotte has the complete game. Bianca is an athletic freak, though with X Factor, charisma, Bianca just doesn't have the small in-ring move to move subtleties in her flow that come with time. I don't know. I mean, I think what Bianca, I think it really comes down to Charlotte's promo work. That's really what kind of lowers me a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I think like Charlotte is great in the ring.
Same thing over and over.
Yeah, but Bianca's the whole package to the point where like I could believe what she's saying on the mic, but like she's probably the best women's wrestler they have in the ring, neck and neck with Charlotte. It's just that entertainment value that it's like much more believable for Bianca. I want to listen to Bianca. I think that's a huge thing.
And another thing is Bianca could go heel or face very easily, whereas Charlotte, Charlotte
can't do face.
Terrible.
They tried it millions of times, does not work.
Does not work. Yeah. So and Charlotte's on the way out. Let's be frank.
Probably, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, whether it's AEW or she goes out somewhere, I mean, I think she's on her way out personally, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will have to wait and see, but we will not be waiting for our next Hell in a Cell prediction to get right into, and we have probably my most anticipated match on the card. I was about to put it in the main event slot, but hey, look.
Oh yeah, baby.
I put it in my background because I'm so damn excited for it.
I love this.
Judgment Day versus Baliv Club. I saw something on Twitter say Baliv Club. AJ Styles, Liv Morgan, Finn Balor.
I don't hate it.
What I do hate is the fact that they didn't put it in the fucking cell. This should be in the hell.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm okay with it. Because we talked about it, I think last week. But I think it would be too awkward though with it with it being a mixed tag,
right?
Or a mixed situation. It would be too awkward because like what's Liv and Rhea gonna do? Just beat up on each other the whole time? Maybe do a move here and there to one of the guys. So it would have been a little clunky, I think. So I'm okay with it. Now if they had like full on intergender matches, then yes, give it to me. But they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But I guess I'll start it off here. I mean, this match here, those AEW marks over there. I want to say Judgment Day is just. I mean, the House of Black is just so great. Blah 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 blah. Look who they went up against. Okay, they went up against Titantron, who's a great competitor. Not really a story there, right? In my opinion. This, however, is a story because each individual member has beef with its counterpart. Finn to Damian, AJ to Edge, Liv to Rhea. Right? They all had their beef outside before joining forces here. And then you get that unpredictability of what's going to happen with Judgment Day. Edge has been doing a great job on Instagram, teasing, so and so could be the next member. I forgot. I think at one point he had. I forgot he had some crazy names out there, but I love it though. I'm trying to pull it up real quick.
Corey Graves,
Tommaso Ciampa. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. He had Simone Johnson.
Simone Johnson. Yeah. Ava Rain is her new name.
Ava Rain, right, yes. Mustafa Ali, Shotzi Blackheart, Ezekiel in a Kevin Owens shirt. But anyways, man, this is tough though. And I guess we have another bonus question of this is is there going to be somebody that joins, with this as well?
I feel like this will always be the bonus question for until we get a full lineup.
Right. I'm gonna go. Man, this was my make and break match last time. I'm gonna go AJ again. And am gonna say that. Man, I'm thinking of Finn.
Be wise here. Be wise. It's only the fate of the
You know
RAWDOWN
what?
Championship on the line.
You're right. I am going to go with Judgment Day. I'm switching.
There you go.
Judgment Day. They're going to add a fourth member. And
Who's
it'll
gonna
be
be?
Finn. It'll be Finn.
Well, I'm going to step right in here because I do want to get my prediction out of the way. But beforehand, let me just go through some comments because we have, he mentioned Charlotte just married Andrade, so she'll be away for a little bit. Tyson's going with Judgment Day. How would you tag in a Hell in a Cell? So, I mean, you could really just do Tornado Tag where it's just everyone's going at it.
Yeah, it would just be Tornado Tag, right?
It would be tough with the with Rhea and Liv because they'd be just fighting each other the whole time, which I guess wouldn't be bad, but I don't know. And of course, Courtney is on Facebook, and she has just
Acknowledge me.
Thank you very much. All right. It's no secret. It's no secret. Judgment Day is the best thing going on in wrestling. A lot of people might think that I'm like joking around when I say that, but
no, you're not.
It's here's one thing that I really picked up on when I was watching Double or Nothing, because of course the House of Black and the Judgment Day comparisons come in, and I get it. In many instances, in many details, House of Black does take a little bit of an edge on Judgment Day. I'll get that. The meaning behind it, the symbolism behind it, sure. What Judgment Day has right now that House of Black does not is the unpredictability, because everyone knew that Julia Hart was, if anyone was going to interfere, it was going to be her. And we were going to get the full transformation, and we were going to get that. That's where the long-term booking comes at a downfall. Because if you know something's going to happen a few weeks from now, it's not that big of a surprise. It could be
Preach.
It's still a surprise. But it could be a bigger surprise if you didn't know who it was going to be. We knew it was going to be Julia Hart. We just didn't know when it was going to happen. This weekend, and even last pay-per-view, the unpredictability comes in the fact, I mean, it's our bonus question after all. Will we have someone join Judgment Day? Not will Finn Balor join Judgment Day? Will Tommaso Ciampa join Judgment Day? Will we have someone join? And it's the idea of, will it be someone, and who will it be? So we're asking two questions here. So I think that is really what takes Judgment Day as the hottest thing right now. I mean, this group alone, as I'm holding them in my hands for the video version, I'm stroking Edge's chin right here. They alone are making me want to buy a ticket to the Madison Square Garden show for Raw just to experience the Judgment Day.
Goddamn, pal.
It's the best thing right now. And, people can meme on me all they want. You
hit some valid points, my friend. You hit some valid points.
Usually I don't, but when I do, they're very valid. With that, I will go ahead, of course. I'll pick the Judgment Day because the Judgment Day is the Judgment Day. However, I will say that we will be getting a fourth man. Although I don't want it. I really don't want a fourth guy. I feel like 3 is perfect, but I understand, if they want to go like the tag team route, you don't want Edge being that guy and only having Damian Priest. So I understand not having or including a fourth man. And it's got to be Finn. I feel like there's no way around it. Ciampa, I would say Ciampa could be it, but he took the loss on Monday.
Yeah.
Right? He lost to Ali. I didn't watch Raw. I'm going to be honest. Did he lose to Ali?
He lost via disqualification.
Yeah.
Okay.
Austin Theory interrupted the match, and then Austin Theory had the match.
Okay. So if we got like a promo with Ciampa with like a purple light in the background, then I would be saying, yeah, we'll get Ciampa here. But I will go ahead and I will say Finn Balor to join the Judgment Day. because it'll be cool. Let's hear from Tom. What is Tom going with here?
So another thing too, I forgot. I told Tom we're gonna do who takes the pinfall in this too.
Okay.
Just to spice it up even more.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, it's got to be AJ to take the pin here. Well, hold on. Let me think about this. Hold on.
I got to think about
Finn. Yeah. Finn. Yeah, I'm gonna go with AJ. AJ takes the pin.
I'm going with Liv because AJ's
Okay.
taken the pin twice now.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I do think Finn, if he gets added in, it'll be like end of the match. Like it'll be in the middle of the match.
Okay, so I'm going JD. Yes, Finn.
While you're writing that in, let's hear from Marco.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go Judgment Day. I'm gonna go with I'm going with Liv for the pin. Only because she pinned Rhea on Monday, so I think that's kind of like the easy way out as far as someone get out. You can't pin AJ again. That would kind of suck. Finn Balor, obviously he's probably gonna be the next in line, like we're all predicting. So he's definitely not gonna get pinned. He's gonna be probably the cause of why they lose. Not sure how they're gonna do it. Maybe distract. Maybe the Liv and AJ are distracted by something that Finn Balor does. Lives in the ring, she gets rolled up or something, or she gets I forget the name of Rhea's finishing move, but she hits her with that
Riptide or something.
The Riptide, yeah, she hits her with the Riptide, pins her, and then ends the match. So I can think of.
You said we are getting a Judgment Day member, or
yes, we're getting Finn Balor as the Judgment Day member.
All right, we're all in agreement.
He's gonna be the reason why they lose.
No,
the match.
Right.
Tom. Oh, Tom. Tom is clearly not watching the product. Goddamn, Bell. He does pick Judgment Day.
Good.
He says Finn will take the pin, and there will not be a member of Judgment Day.
You know, I wouldn't say it's a bad prediction. Like, it really could go either way. It's so 50-50. That's what I'm saying. It's like, it could go either way. That's how good this is right now. I wonder if there are any tavern members who are very anti-Judgment Day. I'm sure they're just grinding their teeth listening to this, but it's the truth. It's unfortunately the truth.
It is.
Anyways, that's enough Judgment Day praise for now. We'll see you on next Tuesday.
Well, we'll praise you. We'll praise you next week.
Praise
you like I should.
And now it is time for what would probably be the main event of the night. Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. So when Chad mentioned that this, Ezekiel and KO was the best story right now, this was the story that I'm pointing toward as the best.
Yes,
because of that promo.
Yes,
they're on fire. Like, I know we said you don't need a third match. You still don't, but they're making the time worthwhile with, setting it up, making it feel big. So we've got a good match on our hands here, but we do have a comment here, and it's from Nick Storm. I agree. Double or Nothing was amazing.
I agree.
That's more British.
I agree. AEW rules. WWE sucks.
Yeah,
I'm an AEW mark.
What match should we talk about? From
I agree. Double or Nothing was amazing. Let's talk more about that PPV.
I trash on WWE because it's cool to trash on that.
I'm riding me on my kangaroo, isn't it?
Goddamn, pal.
I think I nailed it. Nick. Don't worry.
Here's Double or Nothing.
I watched the match, and a matter of fact, I fell asleep in the middle of it.
That's the whole Owen tournament for you.
There you go.
Anyway, we won't go there.
Enough's enough. It's time for a change.
It's time for a.
It's time to wake up.
It's
Put
time
that
to wake
comment
up.
on. Marco nailed
Enough's
it.
enough. It's time to wake up. That's a shirt. That's a shirt.
That's
That
a
is a shirt.
That was so
Give me a break.
predictable.
Chad, if you're listening, it's a shirt.
Enough,
been-
enough, and it's time to wake up. I'm not an
Sports
anteater.
Production says, can't we just
Woo!
enjoy wrestling? We are enjoying wrestling. That's the beauty of
Yeah.
it. You can like what you like, hate what you hate, but overall, we're
Oh
all
no,
wrestling fans. It's fun.
we watch both, but Nick only he likes his tribalism.
Yeah. Nick
and-
isn't enjoying
he's a
wrestling because he
tribalist.
only watches one. But
Oh,
you
I'm
know.
a tribalist.
me kangaroo. Fuck. Anyways, we love everyone here at the tavern.
we love Nick.
Except for Ace. Ace sucks. Ace sucks.
well, he's all right.
Well, when he was RAWDOWN champion, he sucked.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
I guess he's okay.
He's okay.
But he still sucks for taking the title from us.
Life sucks, and then you die.
Then you die. That's a drop. How have we not made that a drop yet?
I don't know.
Life sucks.
Anyways, it's almost an hour, and J-Bone said he needed to be off. already.
Yeah,
So let's
I
do
got
it.
I got to roll here.
All right, let's
Okay,
get into it.
So
I'll
let me throw my picks real quick. I'm gonna give
Yes.
Tom's picks, and then we'll I'm gonna bounce.
skedaddle.
Yeah. Okay. So this has been an amazing. The promo was amazing. I know y'all are about to talk about it. That whole segment was exactly how you build a match for 3 times in a row.
What it needs to be.
Especially with having Cody win twice. I mean, that everything about that promo, everything. It doesn't even matter who wins now because now they've both won. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of it, right? With that being said, I am going to go with Cody because you got to keep him. You got to keep him strong because you get that one little resemblance of the tower falling down, so to speak. Well, I guess that's a bad analogy, but you get where you shift and people think that they're going to bury Cody, then that's it. He's done with it. So you got to keep him strong. And with what Seth did this past week, it's not going to hurt him at all to lose. I know he's been on a losing streak, but it only will add fuel to the fire for later on down to the road, for a championship match or whatever, So I am going to go with Cody here. I think the bonus question is it going to go over or under 25 minutes? I am going to say over.
Mm-hmm.
So that means 25-0-0 if it goes over that.
Yeah.
So if it's 25-1, that counts. I am going to say over on that. Tom's prediction real quick. Man, I keep getting out of it here. He's got Cody going. He didn't tell me if it's over or not. I'll get that from him. Oh no, yeah, he said over 25, over 25 as well, and he has Cody winning. What about our predictions are kind of similar. Do we want to spice it up? Maybe throw in how many over or under on weapons?
Yeah, we could do that. Have over under on weapons.
3, 4, 3.
So I've watched a lot of Hell in a Cell matches lately from the past few years because I was on cheap plug. I was on Counted Out with Mike and Tyler this week. I actually did a list for them, top 7 Hell in a Cell matches from 2010 to 2022. So I've seen a lot of Hell in a Cell matches lately. And what I'm catching on to is there is a lot more creativity than there is pure drama. I think that's where the amazing Hell in a Cell matches come in, is when there's an even mix of that. And there's been some in the last few years that we've seen, Undertaker and Triple H, Undertaker and Brock Lesnar, a few others that I'm forgetting right. Bayley versus Sasha Banks, even Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton, which is a very underrated Hell in a Cell match. A lot of them, Usos and the New Day, all of them kind of encapsulate that entertainment, creativity with the drama. And I think that's what we're going to see this weekend. I will go with Cody to win because I think he needs that third win. And it'll be different booking for WWE because, you don't usually get 3 wins in a row. for pay-per-views. I'll go over 25 because it's Hell in a Cell. And I will go. I'll go 5 weapons. I'll
So
go
so
6.
wait. So wait,
5.
are we?
5
We're not.
weapons.
We're not doing over and over under.
Well, yeah, I said over 25.
No weapons. I'm
Oh, are
talking
we
about.
doing both?
Yeah, we're doing both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 'cause
So,
we're
yeah,
all similar with the picks so far. So we need like
Yeah,
a breaker.
Yeah,
So
there's a little bit of a breaker.
25, and
Yes.
I'll do 6 weapons.
Okay, but where's our line at?
Over under.
Oh yeah, on the weapons.
Okay, we'll do over under.
5.
Let's set it at 5 because I know that they might put in. It's either going to be a lot of weapons or no weapons. So let's
Okay,
set it
so-
at 5, and I'll
so
go
you're-
over.
You're gonna go over. I'm gonna go under.
Okay.
What you got, Marco?
I'm gonna go with Cody for a third win in a row. That'll end this feud, which I'll be very sad that they are ending this feud because it's pretty awesome. I'm hoping there's yeah, I just think he wins, and that just drives Seth Rollins on the deep end.
Mhm.
And he's going to do whatever he can to stop Cody Rhodes from winning the championship. Be it I'm going to enter Money in the Bank and try to win that briefcase so I can cash in before him. If there's another stipulation down the line where there's a title opportunity, I think his mission is to stop Cody Rhodes, but not stay in a storyline with Cody Rhodes. It'll be like that, kind of like, they might go into different storylines and stuff, but there'll be that one background, that overarching storyline where Seth Rollins is trying to stop Cody Rhodes from being that guy in the company. And they'll just come to a head at some point again. Basically just taking a route. They're routing, and then they'll get back.
Yeah, I hear that.
I'm going to go under 5 weapons. I don't think it's going to be 5. I mean, it could be, but man, I'm hoping they do something like you said, being really creative. Like, I'm just thinking of Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. They got crazy creative in that match.
That's very true.
Yeah, so
that's what I mean, man. They're throwing in a lot. It either helps or hurts. I will say.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to get to some comments because we're lighting it up in the comments.
Hold on. Over 25 or
Oh, yeah.
under?
I'm gonna go under 25.
Under. Okay.
Ooh.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it. I like it.
That's a brave pick, but I'll see through it.
It's brave, but
Yeah,
we'll
you
see.
got to be brave for the RAWDOWN title. You're very desperate here, Marco. This is your chance to get your title.
I feel like, oh man, it's just right there, and it just slips, just like this.
You're like the Daniel Bryan of the tavern. It's always just
I'm
right
like-
there.
I'm like Ali at the top of the ladder at that Money in the Bank ladder match. And it's
And here comes Tom. Oh my gosh, J-Bone, I don't want to take any more of your time. Thank you so much for.
All right,
making it out
guys.
here.
I'm sorry I couldn't be with you all the whole thing.
No problem.
Real quick, I'm just gonna plug head over coming down the aisle.com. This week I have Justin Frank from In Ring Art. If you want to know more about New Japan Pro Wrestling, make sure you tune in. I'm gonna start posting my interviews as well on YouTube as well. Also check back. We did the list, top 10 celebrities. Find everything on comingdowntheaislepod.com. Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
Bye bye.
What a guy. What a guy. Let's get to some comments real quick before we get into our other topics on the evening. Nick Storm says, Seth winning here crushes his push here, unless it's a DQ or a roll-up, but this is the big blow-off. That's the thing. I don't think it crushes his push. In the eyes of the fans, it does. But I just don't think a loss really hurts him, but it will in the eyes of wrestling Twitter.
Yeah.
Tyson says that he's going with Seth Rollins just to change it up a bit. That's a bold pick. I could see it from both ends. This is what makes it so good, is that you could see it from both ends. You got Nick Storm says the Raw Down and the wrap up will suffer in the ratings once before our time starts. That's when the true tribalism starts. That's very true. Before our time, starting very, very soon. And when is soon? I don't know, but soon enough. Hardy versus Orton. Hell in a Cell ruled. I think about the
Yes.
screwdriver and the pierced ear. Fucking beautiful.
That was
spot.
great.
Crazy how all of your picks are similar. Very predictable. Hey, listen. Shut up. Thank you.
Yeah. First off, yeah.
Coda Question is here. Thank you for joining us. Needs blood. That's a good tiebreaker. Will we have blood on the match? And I'm not
Road
sure. if
must
we will.
bleed. So you might have it.
I just can't do this anymore. I can't stand here. I can't listen. I can't. You told me to shut up live on air. Do you know that? You know that, Anthony?
Listen here, you son of a bitch! Get the fuck off of my show before I kick your ass right up to Sydney. Now, can you dig that?
Do it, Marco. I don't do it good enough.
Sucker! All right.
That was enough to get Nick Storm off the stream. Nick Storm, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Anyways, needs blood.
Yeah.
Phenomenal segment. We have so much fun here on the Raw Down. Code Equestria says needs blood. That's a good tiebreaker. Will we have blood? We're not going to do a tiebreaker, another one, but I will say Cody will bleed on this one.
Oh yeah, the Rhodes must bleed. That's the
Yeah,
the
he
motto.
needs-
That's the creed of the Rhodes family. Rhodes must bleed.
100%. We have Tommy.
Hi.
He is here. Tommy, thank you for joining us. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Turnbuckle Tavern. We are growing a lot lately, folks. Just quick plug, Tavern, we started on Saturday at around 620 subscribers, but through Fig Night in Vegas, through the Double or Nothing live stream, and through Fig Night tonight with MDT, who, big guest that we had here, we have grown to 670 tonight. So a huge 50 subscriber boost over this weekend. We had an amazing Double or Nothing weekend. Please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And of course, we'll do the plugging later, but you can always find all of the support over at theturnbuckletavern.com, and you can get all of your tavern needs. A few more comments before we get into our next segment. In the Death Triangle and House of Black match, I thought it was The Fiend. I mean, it could have been anyone. Actually, it couldn't have been anyone because literally it was only going to be Julia Hart, and that's why Judgment Day is better. Thank you. Tyson says no. I don't know why he says no, but it's probably something that I said. So, and Nick Storm says, you both made my whole house shake with the power of positivity and sucking. Why, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. But with that being said, it is time to get into our first kind of official segment that we usually have the intros for. And that is time to get into news that we can find
outside the ropes.
Outside the ropes news here on the Raw Down. We're going to start things off real hot and heavy, and that is with a grand downgrade. Money in the Bank was scheduled for Allegiant Stadium, and then the ticket sales came in, and not good.
Yeah.
To the point where we had to downgrade from Allegiant Stadium, which holds, I don't know how many people, a lot of people, though. It's a stadium, football stadium, folks. Allegiant Stadium to the MGM Grand, which only holds about 20,000 people, less than that, 18,000, something like that.
Yeah.
Of course, the MGM Grand is still a very good, arena. It's going to look good arena, but a huge downgrade, and it shows the ticket sales. So, Marco, let's hear from you. What was your initial thoughts on Money in the Bank downgrading their arena size? Do you think obviously it was ticket sales? Do you think the show, I mean, there's not much to say about this. I think it's very straightforward, what we're dealing with here. So just take it away.
I mean, first and foremost, obviously there's no card yet for it, which is, usually you can, WWE, most people just buy the tickets right away, even though it's there's no matches yet announced or anything like that. So I thought that was kind of shocked by that. That probably like one of the first times that I remember in recent memory where it wasn't sold on just the WWE name alone. Like they couldn't sell out in that sense, which is like I said, I could be wrong, but I think this first time in recent memory that I can remember that they actually just didn't sell out with just it being a WWE evented show. And then with the uncertainty of obviously Roman Reigns not being there and knowing his schedule, which I mean, he probably will be there. They'll probably one of the matches. And at the same time, for me, Money in the Bank isn't like a marquee stadium type of show.
Nope.
It should have always. I think it's on a Saturday, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's.
I don't know
so
if they
that would
moved
tout
it
as a-
because of the.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
think
sure.
it's.
I'm
I
gonna
think
look
it's a
into that,
Saturday, so
but-
that would. Yeah, it would tout it as one of the main shows, which I that was the first thing I thought that was kind of funny because it isn't a main show in my eyes anyway. It's definitely like a Sunday like premium live event, if you want to call it that. Obviously, ticket sales are a huge case in point for them to move. Yeah, I just thought it was kind of like crazy that they could get a venue that fast on like a short notice like that, unless that was a backup plan. If they weren't going to sell out Allegiant Stadium, which I think they probably have plans for that stadium at some point. With a bigger show, definitely like a SummerSlam or a Survivor Series or something like that would definitely sell it out. But Money in
they
the
were there
Bank
for SummerSlam last year, weren't they?
was it? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think it's like a sign of the times where WWE is gonna like they're failing or whatever. I think it's just a lack of like news around the Money in the Bank show and who's gonna be there and what capacity, and I think that's what it comes down to. But could be wrong.
I think it just comes down to the WWE trying to be too big, too fast. And I know that's weird, like to say, right? Because obviously WWE is the biggest wrestling company. Their entertainment, they transcend wrestling. The fact is, I feel like this was their first crack at, are we able to just keep doing stadium shows just all year round? Because this is well and away the first year that we see the most amount of stadium shows, the most amount of stadium shows in a year period. I think that's safe to say, because when you look at it, the big all big 4 pay-per-views were in stadium shows. You had a 2-night WrestleMania, so that's 5, and then you have Saudi Arabia shows, and those are all getting stadiums, of course, in Saudi Arabia. And now you have Clash at the Castle, easy for me to say, which is in a stadium. So what are you up to? Like about 8 now, or 7 or 8. So right then and there, that is a really big, shift in the landscape for the arena attendance for the WWE. So I think they really just saw this as, maybe we can cut down the pay-per-view schedule, but make it just a, we'll do stadium shows going forward. Money in the Bank kind of has some momentum behind it. So let's do maybe Money in the Bank. Maybe they would do, I don't know, King of the Ring or something like that. Like I feel like that was their momentum going forward, was let's cut down on the pay-per-views, at least in the US, because we're going to do some in Saudi Arabia. I think this UK thing might even become a yearly thing now that they're seeing this, isn't this the biggest, I saw a stat somewhere that this is like the biggest pay-per-view buy since, I can't remember the exact statistic, but it's doing big numbers basically, as far as ticket sales. Like this is going to sell out, and it's huge. But maybe that was their mentality. Overall, I think this was just the idea of them wanting to get too big too fast. You got to slow it down. I think this was a Nick Khan decision too, to start doing the stadium shows, both from an attendance perspective and even from an aesthetic. Seeing stadium shows, it makes it look larger than life. So I get why they would do it, but you need to do it right. You can't do, Money in the Bank. That's like saying, yeah, let's put Extreme Rules in a or Hell in a Cell. It's like doing Hell in a Cell this week in a stadium. Sure, it's a
Yeah.
great card, but you're not gonna sell out a stadium with
Nope.
the card that you have. Plus, I think it was very ballsy of them to put Roman Reigns on the poster, and I think Brock was even on that poster too.
Yeah.
And now, of course, they've been taking off the poster. That's another thing I wanted to mention. Roman's no longer being advertised. Sasha is also not being advertised. How does this affect the inclusion of Roman Reigns? Because obviously he's going to be taking some time off, but we thought Roman was going to face Riddle. That doesn't look like it's happening anymore because now Riddle is tag teaming with Shinsuke. So a lot of unanswered questions. I want to get your take on the whole Roman situation, but I want to also get some comments in. Nick Storm says, I had to look up what PLE meant because I'm seeing it all over Twitter. PLE sounds like a diet plan. That's a pretty good one. Can we talk about John Cena's return? I haven't heard about John Cena's return. We've talked about Cena's return in past episodes of the RAWDOWN because apparently he's coming back for the summer. Sports Productions, if you haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe to the Tavern, and especially for the RAWDOWN because we have some great shows here. Tommy says, if you see Roman Reigns drop the title, who will beat him for it? That's a discussion for another day to get more in depth. We've talked about it multiple times. I think right now, Cody, Drew are like your top candidates. Maybe we'll do a special segment on that when we feel like it gets closer, that there's more of a definitive candidate. But for now, we'll keep it to not too sure yet. $1.1 million gate. That was the stat. Nick Storm, you're good for something today. 1.1 million for Clash of the Castle. It's fucking huge.
It's huge.
Nick Storm said, okay, so we'll get to that in a sec. We'll get to that later. So yeah, Roman, how are you feeling about this with no Roman?
Yeah, it's because like we talked about, I think last week. Supposedly we talked about his potential opponents for the summer, which would be Riddle. I think Orton was one of them that they mentioned. Obviously McIntyre. I'm not sure who it would be for SummerSlam if he was going to be at SummerSlam. But man, I don't know. I think that whole video that came out where he was like, saying like, this, I'm going on a different, career trajectory essentially. I think that halted a lot of people from buying tickets to at a lot of future events, knowing that Roman Reigns may not be around during the summer for a lot of those shows. And it goes back to that, like, I think we talked about this, bigger than you're never bigger than the brand now at WWE. Like, but I think it's kind of showing the opposite. I think you have to have a big name. You have to have a draw. I don't think WWE by itself can sell out a stadium. Now, if Roman Reigns was attached to Money in the Bank, I don't think they would have had to change venues. If we knew that, like a Randy Orton, a Drew McIntyre, a Roman Reigns, those names are attached to that event, I don't think they're downgrading.
Hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
I actually have a hot take on this. Although I feel that Roman is the biggest star that the WWE has besides Sasha, I don't think this was, the case of not having Roman on the show. I think it's really more for, like we were saying, Money in the Bank. I don't feel like Roman has that star level to the point where, like, if he's not on the card, people aren't going to the show. I think he's there, like right there. But, from my perspective, like, I wasn't buying a WrestleMania ticket because Roman Reigns was on the card. That's a bad example. But, like, do you see kind of what I'm saying? Like, I think people buy tickets, I feel like right now, Cena, if Cena was advertised and then he was taken off, I think that's different. Like, let's say, SummerSlam last year. It's the summer of Cena, but all of a sudden now Cena isn't being advertised and he's nowhere to be seen. A lot of those ticket sales are going to go down. Austin, if Steve Austin was promoted like crazy for WrestleMania, you see all these tickets going up, and then all of a sudden Kevin Owens is confirmed to fight like Seth Rollins. ticket sales are going down. I think the only guy that's close right now to being like people are going to buy tickets to see him, as surprising as it is, I think it's Cody. And I think it's just the idea of people wanting to see Cody in WWE, like to be there for it. That's one of the reasons why I was super excited for WrestleMania, was just the idea of being the first person to see Cody Rhodes. You know, a lot of people too, like even in New York, Cody was wrestling in a dark match and they still went just because, you know, it's Cody Rhodes. Like it's a huge thing. So I don't know if Roman has that effect yet. I'm not too sure. Nick Storm says Roman is bigger than the brand. Cody is bigger than any brand, if we've seen with AEW. So are you saying Cody's bigger than WWE? Because if any brand, then that's including the E.
I mean, as an outsider, I mean, yeah, I mean, he had the fan backing in AEW, and even before that, when he was like in ROH and New Japan and all that stuff. And now he's moving into, obviously went back to WWE, and he's still getting that love. Yeah, I mean, across promotions, you could probably say he's right now the most popular wrestler across both. And obviously, he's not in AEW, but like if you're going to take both promotions, he probably is the most popular out of anybody. I mean, he might not be wrong about that.
And I think it's just a momentum thing. Like I feel like it'll wear off a little bit.
Yeah.
As time goes on, but like I still feel like we're in that Cody Rhodes euphoria that like people are gonna want to see him.
The other thing too is he's so good at talking. He's not like he's every like the way he speaks, like he just you hang on every word. He's like Randy Orton's like that. Like when Randy Orton's kind of promo, of when he's doing when he's not this Randy Orton, but like the heel Randy Orton. Yeah, hang on every single word that he's saying.
Yeah,
and Cody obviously. I mean, Cody came up under Randy Orton when he was in the company in his earlier years. So like he credits Randy Orton with helping him along the way and stuff. So like you could see like kind of like the similarities in their promo skill. And obviously, you know, we know who Cody Rhodes' father is, and he's one of the greats. You could probably argue he is probably the greatest talk on a mic, but with he's just a I don't know, man. Just I mean, Roman's great, but like Cody, dude, you give him anything, and we'll get to the promo, the Seth Rollins promo.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get there in just a moment.
I'll add more to that.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. Cody, Nick says Cody's hype won't die down if they keep him in good stories. This is the story for WWE at the moment. Seth versus Cody, 100%. The promo, as we're about to get to, is what needs to be done a lot more with Cody. And I know it's, you know, talking about AEW and stuff, but like that's what's going. That's what's going on right now. You're gonna see a lot of that blurred lines, and it's gonna make for even better TV. I think it's very interesting how like. In AEW, right, we always compare like Cody in AEW to Cody in WWE, but I think it's just fascinating how like Cody in AEW, his promos in all senses, like if you really think about it, there wasn't much difference to like what he's doing then or what he's doing now to what he was doing back then. Same type of promo, same believability. Like I feel like his early work was better, like, you know, when he was cutting those passionate promos, like when he said he would never fight for the world title again, like that's one of his best promos. And you know, all that we saw like little inklings of it in like the Sammy Guevara promo right before their ladder match. It's the same thing, but you take Cody out of this scenario and out of this setting and you put him in WWE, and I think it's just it just works a lot more. And it's solely because Cody is a quote unquote superstar. And I know it's stupid to say, but like Cody just has that feel to him that works in the WWE and just doesn't work in AEW because it's not that type of wrestling. And there's no problem with it. I think it just works better in a scenario like the WWE where you have these larger than life characters and you have someone like Cody that the fans can get behind because it's the believability, it's the connection to Dusty Rhodes, it's this grand spectacle. It's the Cody countdown. It's all of this type of stuff that people get behind so easily that they couldn't do in AEW because it's hokey.
Yeah, not even. I would even say hokey. I would say, with AEW that his messaging wasn't for that crowd.
Yeah,
I'll say.
Yeah,
that fan base isn't into the heartfelt like promos and stuff like that. They're more into the CM Punk, MJF type of like snarky, sarcastic, that type of promo work. Which I'm kind of surprised that like Malachi Black like is flourishing, but they don't really have him, stand in the middle of the ring and cut promos as much. If you notice, not that the fan base is like they can't, they can't like understand what he's saying or anything like that. But and the other thing you brought up too was like the superstar part of it. No, so it's gonna come across very bad.
Yeah.
So not to say that there's no superstars in AEW, but they're not looked at as superstars in AEW. Is that a fair thing to say?
Run me back. I missed a little bit of that.
So Anthony could probably explain more, but he's saying like Cody, you take Cody out of AEW with his heartfelt promos, and all that stuff, and you put him in WWE, and it works there because it's more theatrical.
Right. It's more of like a spectacle, and that's what WWE fans can get behind because it's more of entertainment. It doesn't work in AEW, and that's not a bad thing. But like, I feel like that's where the huge division is.
Yeah, that crowd, the AEW crowd isn't. They don't want to hear the heartfelt promos. They want to hear, like I said, the CM Punks, the MJFs, the sarcastic, the snarky, that those type of promos where you're just cutting into somebody. They don't want to hear about how you grew up as a child and you want to be a wrestler your whole life and watching your dad, and they don't want to hear all that shit. They want to hear for me. That's how I take it. But then, like I said, he brought up something where Cody's a superstar, and he was in an AEW setting where his promos weren't cutting it essentially. And I'm saying the AEW guys and gals aren't looked at as like these larger than life superstars. That's what WWE does. They focus on like they're almost like it's almost like Hollywood, like the glitz and the glam and stuff like that. Where AEW is more the the grit, like the actual pro wrestling world. Where
I was gonna say like it's more aggressive. Like I feel like the fans are more aggressive when it comes to that. I also feel like the talent in WWE are more protected. Their characters at least, because you see in AEW like you're free to do everything, but sometimes that's not like the best thing, you know what I mean? I'm glad that MJF is in character 24/7, right? But I don't want to see Kenny Omega playing around with like watching anime or playing video games on Twitch. I want to see him, being because he could be a larger than life guy. Like Kenny Omega, in a lot of people's eyes, are like the greatest, just as like how Roman's like the greatest in a lot of people's eyes as well. I think. And I want them to fucking fight at one point, I'll be honest. But it's like things like that, I feel like, because you're not seeing Roman Reigns on Twitch, you know what I mean? Like, doing stuff. So yeah, I think you're right 100%. Yeah, in that regard.
Yeah, I guess there's different ways to look at Cody right now, like, because like I said, Nick, I don't know if you missed it, but like what he's doing in AEW, what he was doing in AEW is the same exact thing to what he's doing in WWE right now. And some of his best promos were in AEW. And I think we'll see a lot of that carry over to WWE, like, his promo with Jericho or about Jericho that he would never fight for the title again. And even though I don't love it, a lot of people love the promo right before his Sammy Guevara match, like all of that. Like you're really going to see a lot of that carry over.
It's what
do you want to talk about?
Here's something. Here's what I'm trying to figure out: where the turn happened for Cody. So for Roman Reigns, it was Royal Rumble when Daniel Bryan got eliminated, and then Roman Reigns was just tossing people out left and right, and the crowd was just completely just like it just flipped. Like people were booing him like crazy. That was the end of Roman Reigns for the foreseeable future, anyway. I'm kind of interested on when the AEW fans turned on Cody Rhodes, because I can't. Was it the Anthony Ogogo? Was it that?
I think
it was that promo.
It wasn't an exact moment. I think it was just exactly what we're talking about when it became a spectacle with Cody. And that's when it changed for
Fireworks
me.
and the
Because like
pyro and-
I love AEW. I think they're doing amazing stuff. Everything works well. Cody was such an outlier because it was what WWE was doing. It was the whole fucking America, and you know, you have your valet and you come out right through the middle while everyone comes out from the side, and you have your personal trainer and you have your dog coming out, and you're talking about American pride and all this shit. And it's like, I get it, it's cool, but it just doesn't work here. And it's like, it goes back to my original point when we were talking about this. Like, all of this, what I hated in AEW, you put it in a different situation and it's fantastic. I don't know what it is. I guess it's just like the culture around it, the fans getting behind. I think the fans getting behind it too helps a lot, obviously, because, you know, if the fans are going to shit on something in the arenas, you know, you're going to be more likely to shit on it on social media. And then, you know, when you're just watching.
Yeah, I never had a problem with Cody at all. Like I understood why the fans were booing him, and I think it was because of that Anthony Ogogo promo that he cut. It's just like coming from this like American dream lifestyle, like white privilege. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense at the time, but like you know, and he looked back on it, and I think, and he was just like, it was so tone deaf at the time. But I think. Gradually, because it just was so different to everything else in AEW. He was coming through the middle. It felt like, because he was an EVP, that he was booking his own stuff to get over, and I think that's why the fans turned on him, is because like they saw him as like, this is Cody's company. It's going to be, you know, it's his own thing. He's got to make himself win everything, every match, every blow off. I think eventually that's what it was. In ring, I like Cody, I love Cody, and I still love Cody. Like he's still great, and I think his promos are like at the time in AEW, like up until he left. I think that it was just all culminating with the theatrics, the promos he was doing, and then eventually the fans turned on him. And I think that would have been a perfect time if he wanted to go heel, because that's what like. I think that's what Cody's best at, because he has been this WWE character since he started wrestling in OVW, right? That's just how he was trained. And I don't think that left at all. And the same thing goes with his character work when it comes to being a heel, I think. And so I feel like if they did a little spin on that, I understand he's sick of being a heel for all his life. And he's making a lot more money like now. So this was the better option for him, his lifestyle, his family, his whatever. But just I think it would have been a cool development to see.
Yeah. Let's get to some comments real quick, because Ace joined us. He said he actually thinks that the Malachi feud was the one that turned him. The culmination of his heat was at Grand Slam 2021. And the Agogo promo and naming his daughter Liberty made people scratch their head with how out of touch he was. Go back and watch that promo. It was so bizarre. Yeah, and like I think it's even more weird how they paint it out as such a amazing thing on like their reality show, that it's like, Cody is fucking talking about all this amazing stuff. He's, you know, I'm gonna be the American dream, America. It was so bizarre.
It didn't hit for me, because I'll tell you what, I ain't American. I'm on the closest thing to it. I'm very far from it.
I wonder what people like, you know, out of the United States were really.
I was going for a go-go in that match. Like, I'll be honest.
That's the other thing too. Like, there's no like war between America and the UK. Like,
yeah, it's not the 80s. You know what I mean? Like,
it's not
like America's
Russian,
feuding with. Yeah,
or something like that. Or like, I could see that people rallying behind, like, F that dude. But I love the UK.
Well, all I hope is that they don't do the America shit with Cody in WWE, because although it would make more sense, because there's a lot more like, you know, ethnically diverse wrestlers in WWE, you know, from people all over the world, and it could work better than having just a random guy from the UK. Like, it would just be so hokey. Like, please,
it would be.
We don't need the US versus the world gimmicks anymore. It's just dumb. It doesn't work. It doesn't fucking work.
Yeah, just let him wear the gimmick. Like, he wears the gimmick. You get it. He's the American Nightmare. You don't have to go any further than that. The other thing too is he's legit Homelander. If you watch The Boys, if anyone watches The Boys,
I love The Boys, dude.
He's
what they were
Homelander.
going for easily.
Like, that's what I thought they were going to do in AEW. If he was going to turn heel, he would have been the Homelander. He would have been.
He would have been that heel that thinks he's a babyface and like thinks exactly like Homelander.
Yeah.
Like Homelander's convinced he's a good guy. That's what Cody would have been, and I think that would have been amazing.
Everyone.
That's why I was thinking like they were
drinks
and
baby's
Hawk always
milk,
brings up
mama's
the
milk.
interview. Hawk always brings up the interview like, Cody said that they were gonna do the something they've never done before, and I think if it was anything, I really think it was going to be the fact that Cody just never turned heel officially, and it was just the fans' reaction of it.
Yeah.
And I think it just wouldn't have worked whatsoever.
No.
The Homeland, I think, like looking back on it, I think it works really well. But like in the moment, like for AEW, like you needed like an exact heel turn, and they missed the boat on it, and it just wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
Some more comments from Ace. I love Cody and his run through the indies, reinvigorated smaller promotions. He restructured the thinking of wrestlers of where they can make their money. His impact on wrestling history is quite big. It's not only AEW, but his New Japan ROH work was peak. Just an absolute roll of the dice, and he deserves this WWE run if this is what he wanted. I'm at peace and happy for the dude. Yeah.
I will. Awesome. I've got something to say as well. Like, in the time that Cody was getting these boos, he elevated so much talent. Like, I think he elevated Sammy a whole lot, and especially Malachi as well. We've seen past NXT, WWE guys. He had Darby for sure. Like, his first match in AEW was with Darby. With Cody, I should say.
Dude, Wardlow came from the Nightmare Factory.
Wardlow,
that's wow. I didn't know that.
It's a bunch of people that came from the Nightmare Factory there.
Yeah, and like to touch on the Malachi thing again, like we've seen people from NXT, I won't name names, Adam Cole, hasn't had the best AEW career, and it just I think we take for granted how good Malachi was when he came in. Yeah, too small. He's the tip of my thumb, man. That's all as Adam Cole. But like we take for granted how well Malachi was built when he first came in here. Like he destroyed Arn, he destroyed Cody. I think how many matches did Malachi win against Cody? 2, and then Cody won 1. I don't remember a whole lot, but
like the light versus dark was pretty cool. Like that whole thing that
was sick. The whole poster for it was awesome. It was it was very cool to see.
Yeah, totally. Well, that was a good Cody conversation. I feel like every RAWDOWN needs a good little Cody or Roman discussion. So
we need a clock too. Cody clock.
Let's get to our. So overall,
can I just check? Can I stay here? Can I chill?
Yeah, of course. Fuck it.
Oh, cool.
In short, yes, they did move Money in the Bank to the MGM Grand.
Yeah.
Kind of got lost in the shuffle as we were talking, but yes, it did happen. Anyways, let us move on to our pretty much our final segment on the night, and that is
collar and elbow.
Collar and elbow. We're going to get to some news and comments and new little bits and pieces of stuff that happens within the ring of wrestling. We already talked about the stuff from the outside. Let's get inside the squared circle. And let's start off, as we've been hyping up throughout the night, Seth's promo last night on Monday Night Raw. I'm going to be honest with you. This is the only thing that I watched on Raw. Didn't even watch SmackDown. So who won the week? Fucking Seth Rollins won the week with this promo.
Yeah, definitely.
Good stuff. Like we were saying before, like we were a little iffy, last week and the week before that we were seeing another Seth Rollins match up against Cody Rhodes. But I think they nailed it here. They gave it more of a story, and it was that part of the story that the overall Seth and Cody rivalry was missing. It was that nod to AEW, and you knew that you were going to get it eventually, but he finally says it, you and your friends, after you went away for 6 years, you and your friends take everything that I've been building up and you try to break it down. You can't break the throne or take a sledgehammer to the throne and try to come back to it. It just, from the visual of him standing in the crowd, everything worked so well. And then you get the brawl afterwards, and it was just, whew, it was so good. I know J-Bone really wanted to talk about this. I'm really upset that he couldn't make it, but like,
sorry,
I know
J-Bone.
he was really into it too. Nick, I know you watched the promo. What did you think of it?
Well, I'm glad J-Bone wasn't here because I get to talk for him.
Yeah, true.
Heel turn. But it's like everything you stated. Like they were going to talk about AEW eventually, and they talked about the throne breaking, which was like phenomenal. I think this is like maybe one of my favorite things from Seth in this whole feud was maybe this promo. Like I thought it was really good. And the brawl as well you mentioned. But yeah, it is kind of cool that he did mention that. Like as like obviously a more AEW fan than WWE. I love whenever they reference each other. People say AEW does it too much. I'm all here for it because I get the references, and it's not often that I get like pop culture references. So when I do, they hit home. You know what I mean? So they're always great to me because it makes the story bigger than the company. It makes the story bigger than the characters. It makes the story personal, and I think that's really cool to acknowledge that.
And it catches on the as much as I hate to say it, like because whatever, but like it could even catch on some of the AEW fans to see this type of feud and be like, oh shit, they're actually mentioning this. This is pretty cool.
It's
like
got my
I'm
attention,
already
that's
kind of
for
like
sure.
Cody.
Like,
yeah, perfect example of that. I feel like this mentioning the rival, I think how am I trying to say this? I think WWE gets it right whenever they do it, because sometimes you take the cheap shots at AEW, and obviously like even the first time, like they were the first ones really to bring up their opponent, like when Sami Zayn did that weird segment and he was like, I could talk about AEW. Wow. I completely forgot that happened. But I feel like this works so well as far as taking a cheap shot at a company, because it's not just, mentioning like, oh, you did some stupid type of fucking sledgehammer to Triple H's throne. It's also bringing up the history and keeping things relevant. It's not just immediately burying everything, because that was an important piece in where Cody is now. So you have to.
It's like what MJF is right now in the wrestling world. We're talking about it constantly, right? There's conversations endlessly about it. It's kind of like the same thing. It's like people were talking about that Cody thing for a couple months until he actually showed up. Like no one knew what was happening. People thought he was in Poland for some reason at one point. So it was like a crazy time, and stuff like that is why I'm a wrestling fan. Like the stuff with MJF, I'm second guessing everything. It's great, right? So it just makes the business more fun and enjoyable.
Yeah, definitely. And the whole Cody thing is like, this is what I want to see AEW do more of. Like, they take so many cheap shots at WWE, and I love most of them, but I also want to see them acknowledge the history of WWE more often, because they have so many quote unquote like ex-WWE guys. Use that history to your advantage. They do it all the time with like Christian and Matt Hardy. Do it with all the other guys that you've had. You do it with Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era and all that. That's cool, but you can keep going with it, and it doesn't have to be negative all the time. Marco, I know you had a lot of thoughts on this, so go ahead.
He actually the good thing I got from that promo was he actually kind of he didn't demean AEW at all. He basically said you guys got together and created something that tried to destroy me, which is basically saying like he created something that was huge, that tried to like break what I created over here. You guys try to take a sledgehammer to the throne that and you coming back and trying to take it or whatever. But he kind of bigged him up in that sense, like you went out there and you created something that almost like derailed what I was doing over here. But then you ended up coming back, so that kind of like brought it back home. But I think too, like for that promo, that did not come for me. That did not come from a WWE writer at all.
No,
that promo was from Cody. I guarantee he co-wrote that with Seth Rollins. just the way that even Seth Rollins was speaking, slow, and the same exact way Cody would. Cody and all that stuff. Like he's like, you come here, and like he wasn't speeding up, he wasn't talking fast. He was doing almost like the same type of promo work that Cody would do, like very like slow, methodical, getting to his point, but keeping you hanging on every single word. Like what are you going to say next?
Real quick, I just want to get to this comment from Chad because he says this entire Cody return storyline, Seth promo, legitimizes AEW so much. Happy for Cody. Both he and AEW needed this and are benefiting from it. That's a good point too.
Yeah.
Like I know we're getting back into the Cody stuff, but like it's linked to Seth, so I'll allow it. But you know, I feel like this is doing a lot to help AEW at the same time. Because if there was any guy that could merge, you know, those two worlds in a positive light, it was going to be Cody. Like he was, you know, a guy that was underutilized in WWE, became very utilized, possibly even overutilized in AEW. And now he comes back to WWE, and now he's kind of that middle ground of I've seen both worlds. I've seen when I was Stardust and fucking mustache dashing Cody Rhodes in WWE, but I've also seen when I was, you know, over pushed at the top of my game, you know, Cody Vader and, you know, having my dog get scared of fireworks and a pay-per-view. Why would you bring your dog out when there's fucking fireworks? Never understood that. Seen both worlds. And now I'm able to write these promos with the guys and acknowledge both worlds. And I think that helps so much. And like Chad said, it helps AEW or legitimize them. Because like I mentioned before, acknowledging your history, it doesn't have to be in a negative light. You could do it positively, and it just adds to the overall lore of wrestling, and that's what makes it so good. I want to see both companies do this more often, especially AEW. I feel like people comment and complain about the cheap shots and the references to WWE because it's all negative. There's some good in WWE. I know it's like the big entertainment company, fucking blah, blah, blah. It's not necessarily you're praising the WWE. You can use their history to your advantage. You can take so much of what happened there, bring it to here. I know you're trying to pave your own path. You could do that, but that's how you get some other viewers invested. That's how you got someone like Nick to like a WWE promo. Who the fuck would have guessed? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I want to see this both from more companies. I think this works so well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I'll just say, I think I swear there have been in the past maybe where AEW has acknowledged WWE in that sort of regard.
Yeah.
But anytime that it's been kind of brought to light is just when it's negative, like in the MJF Punk promos, you get buy night 4 of a buy one get one free, that sort of thing. And I think it kind of works because the AEW crowd do think that WWE is like fuck you, like the big fuck you, just from word of mouth, just from talent not being happy there. Granted, there's talent not happy in AEW. Look at Brian Cage, for example. Hikaru Shida was complaining as well, like rightly so. And I think that's going to come out a lot more in AEW too. So it's not like no one's like they're the perfect company at all. But I think that it's a good thing to acknowledge the history. It just makes sense because like you get the diehards who get every reference, and it just helps the whole, like, I don't know, wrestling thing, because you get people asking, wait, so what does this mean? What does this mean? You go, oh yeah, this, and they go back and they watch it or something like that. It just helps the business in that regard, I think.
Yeah, 100%. So that was a good little talk about the Seth Rollins promo. Absolutely want to see more of this. And one more little topic that I want to get into on this segment, and I like to call this brand split over if you want it. That's my John Lennon impression. Thank you very much. I actually wrote if Vince wants it because that worked for the joke better.
What John Lennon thing was that?
The Christmas song. So this is Christmas.
Yeah.
And he has the choir behind him, and he calls it Happy Xmas. Whatever. Yes. The brand split is apparently over. but it's weird because there's still a brand split, but there's not still a brand split. Apparently, you will be seeing members of Raw and members of SmackDown flippity-flop across both shows, and we have already seen it with Kevin Owens appearing on SmackDown. We saw like Angel Garza and Los Lotharios guy on Raw. So you've seen it already. Marco, I'll start with you. We'll do this really quick because I want to get to the end here. But real quick, does this help WWE? Does it hurt WWE? Should they get rid of the brand split? What do you think?
I mean, I said this. I mean, I think before, maybe even before or after Mania, that there was going to be no more brand split. There was no promo of a draft happening or no let's shake things up a little bit. None of that talk after Mania. So like you kind of knew it was going to happen. Them unifying the titles kind of made it official. Well, those titles anyway. I think I wouldn't be surprised if you see the women's titles be unified at some point, the Raw and SmackDown. And then I'm not sure what they would do with the United States and Intercontinental because they're kind of different titles, essentially. Mm-hmm. But I could definitely see that happening with the women's titles and being unified. I think it helps them because you're gonna get the big stars on both shows as opposed to just watching SmackDown and seeing Roman Reigns. And you might not want to watch Raw because Roman Reigns isn't on it. But now you'll have that. I'm just using him as an example, by the way.
Acknowledge me.
But just the fact that Roman Reigns might main event a Raw, I think that's more enticing than just waiting till Friday to watch Roman Reigns. And you've seen the Usos jump back and forth already. They've been on Raw and SmackDown for the past few months. So I mean, it was inevitable, and I think it'll definitely help out Survivor Series because that's the question that everyone always brings up: is what the hell happens to Survivor Series and the brand, the dominant brand or whatever.
Yep.
I mean, that can just definitely go away. Like I said, I think it peaked in was it 2018 when they did the NXT brand? 2019. All right. I think that's when it peaked. I think that was like the pinnacle of the.
Was that with Matt Riddle and Keith Lee and all that?
Yeah. Yep.
That was great.
And they had the triple threat matches with the North American, Intercontinental, and United States.
That was amazing. That was
great.
Series, yeah.
I think I think that's where it kind of peaked, and you can't really top it after that. But I'd love if they go back to the traditional Survivor Series of the teams, or do a tournament, like a deadly game type of tournament thing where there's a title shot at hand, or who knows. But I'm all for the brand coming back together as one.
Nick Storm, I know this isn't really your forte, the old WWE talk. I will ask you though. I'll give you a little AEW question. With the size of AEW's roster growing and growing, do you ever see them?
I already know. Yes, brand split. You may be thinking, I love the idea of a brand split and drafts. I think it makes it feel more like a sport. But it's just like WWE can't do it in the current state of their rosters in because it is such a tight knit thing. 100%, I think a brand split would be really cool. But I think AEW would suffer from it because not many people watch Rampage as is. So I don't know how many people would if a brand split would happen. You know what I mean? So I feel like WWE in that regard could do that because their numbers are so high constantly. But I feel like if AEW were to do that, I don't know, maybe a different time slot, different day, but then it's more logistics that you can't really wiggle around. So it's hard.
I actually think it would work better for AEW where they're more sports. They're not sports entertainment. They're more professional wrestling, and they treat it more as like a sport. They do after pressers, after pay-per-view. Presses and stuff like that.
Like New Japan, they have a whole brand for women's wrestling called Stardom. They have a whole it's amazing. You know what I mean? And that does really well too. So
I think it would actually work for AEW where they're more sports oriented. I think it would work with them more than because there's wins and losses and all that stuff, and
right,
they keep track of all that. Where WWE doesn't do it.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's also kind of links back to what Ace said. He says that he hates the brand split. Hasn't worked since the original in 2002. I feel like that is because WWE has watered down the draft and the brand split a lot. Because it usually ends up being either one brand doesn't matter or neither of the brands matter, and it just becomes a mess overall. However, I think it also, you mentioned 2002. The roster in 2002 was fucking phenomenal. You had guys like The Rock and Austin and Undertaker and Triple H. All these guys, if not in the prime of their career, like either just entering or just exiting, everyone was there. I feel like that's what we have with AEW right now, where it's like all these amazing wrestlers either in the prime of their career, exiting the prime of their career, entering, and you have so many guys that it makes it very unpredictable. Like, if Tony Khan wants to sit here and say, I want to start pushing Daniel Garcia as a singles guy more often, or I want to feature, I don't know, fucking Dustin Rhodes more often because I have a good story for him. It doesn't necessarily have to be Dynamite and Rampage, but it could be really anything. I do think it needs to be like,
ROH,
AEW.
I think that's the closest thing AEW is going to do to a brand split is the ROH thing. But then
ROH
it kind of
AEW, and they could do that.
I think that would be like a cool, like even like a pay-per-view or like one of those like special weekly TV things they do,
right.
But then it's like the people who go from AEW to ROH, I think most people will see that as a downgrade too.
Exactly.
Popularity. Yeah. So that's where that's where to me it kind of becomes, I don't know, a bit fine.
Yeah. This might be like, AEW people might fucking hate me for this, but like I already see the brand split happening just on the talent that is featured on Rampage as compared to Dynamite. You only see certain wrestlers fight on Rampage. You never see like, I get it's his show, but Hook, you never see fight on Dynamite. You never see like even like random people like Adam Cole for some reason only wrestles on Rampage. Jade Cargill only wrestles on Rampage. And like I know a lot of AEW fans will actually disagree with you, Nick, and be like, no, you don't need the brand split because WWE does it and it sucks.
Roster, but like, look at the roster. It's like
exactly
it's way too
you
big.
kind of need to if you want to showcase everyone. Like this is the perfect example of why you should do it. WWE, I know that they historically have had a huge roster, but you're cutting a lot of that roster down to the point where you can barely have two separate women's divisions and tag team divisions, whereas in AEW, they need some help in that women's area. That's 100%. But like tag teams, you think you're featuring all these amazing tag teams already. Give us a brand split and you're going to see fucking 5 more amazing tag teams pop up and be immediate contenders for the tag titles. You know what I mean? Like, I think you're at a spot, especially right now, that you can do it and it'll work. It's always something to think about. One more comment from Ace before we move on. The original concept was born out of WCW going out of business. It was originally slated to be Nitro versus Raw, but the WWF audience had a visceral reaction to Hour of WCW that they trialed with the early invasion.
Yeah, they did. I remember that. They did like an hour of WCW. Like they would change out the announcers and they would change out like how everything pretty much looked and turn it into like a WCW show almost. Right. And then people were just booing the shit out of it.
They only did that once, no?
Yeah, no, it was bad. It was go watch it. I don't even think it lasted like a week.
Yeah.
Or maybe even 2 weeks. If you go back and watch it, they're like the crowd just booed through the whole thing.
And that makes sense because like it's like imagine if WWE bought out AEW and then had 1 hour of AEW. WWE fans would not like, and like vice versa as well with AEW fans. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't make sense.
Yep, 100%. Well, with that being said, we're going to finally move on from all of this discussion from outside the ropes, inside the ropes, inside the arena, outside the MGM brand.
I'm sorry. I feel so out of place. This is hilarious.
No, that's what we do here. We just fucking throw in random people. It makes it fun. We're fine. Yeah. We're having fun here. And we are about to close out. First of all, thank you, Nick, for jumping in. I know J-Bone
don't thank me. I don't know what I've given to this show. I don't know.
You've given your you can't think of anything.
Who won the week?
You've given something, Nick. Who won the week? Was it Seth Rollins, and can we move on?
Yeah,
it
was Seth
CM,
Rollins,
CM Punk
Raw.
winning the AEW World Title. Catch it on the All Elite wrap up this week.
Oh, God, look at him.
You don't like it when someone does
Judgment
it on
Day
your
won
show,
the
young
week.
Anthony.
My
God.
My fellow co-host on the Chick Foley show. I can't wait to. I'll do an early plug. We'll be doing a recap of AEW.
I heard
Double
not the
Nothing,
biggest
as well
CM
as
Punk fans, right?
as well as a preview. And I'm probably the only Punk fan on the show. Yeah, they really
man.
dislike CM Punk. Well, they weren't there during the. They were there at the tail end, so like when he left and he was like miserable and stuff or whatever. They didn't.
So that's
they weren't there for
horrible,
the Summer of Punk. They weren't there before that when he was ECW. I'm bringing statistics to the show. Don't worry. I'm there to back up Punk, dude. ROH champion, ECW champion, World Heavyweight champion, multiple-time WWE champion. The dude has.
All you need to do is go back and watch those feuds.
Intercontinental
like,
champion, tag team champion.
Yeah.
Watch the ROH
He has
run.
the accolades in WWE, man. I'm gonna have to bring that. I'll bring the thunder. Don't worry. I'm
Jeff
a Punk
Hardy
guy.
run with CM Punk, like that rivalry
Mhm.
was hot. Like with Edge intertwined, a little sprinkle a little bit of Edge.
That
It was amazing.
all his rivalries are awesome. They're Triple H. That's up with Triple H and Kevin Nash.
Oh my God,
Like,
that's
all
blowing
that
up on
stuff,
Twitter
man.
recently. You've seen people are like, "Oh, the more you grow up, the more you realize Triple H was right." It's fake. Wrestling's
No,
fake,
yeah.
by the way.
Wrestling's fucking fake.
They're playing
Get
into
over
the
it.
fact that, like, they're playing into that whole fact
It was
of,
great, man. It was real TV. It was fucking
Two-time Money in the
awesome.
Bank.
Yep,
That's true.
two-time. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, man. Like, if you don't know CM Punk before his miserable days in WWE, and then you listen to the podcast afterwards and how he's just shitting on everything, and he does sound miserable. But if you were a fan of him before, and see that whole run, you definitely think differently. And, I mean,
Yeah.
I am happy that he won the AEW champ. I know a lot of people are pissed off. I know that. But
It was gonna happen, dude. It's the smartest
Yeah, it
business
was
choice for
inevitable.
AEW.
it definitely is. I mean, it's CM Punk. He has a name. He's probably one of the most popular wrestlers in the past decade. I mean,
Mhm.
great acquisition. Tony Khan
Yeah.
would say, probably the best acquisition, which would, I mean, oh man, I wish I was on the AEW show because I have a lot to say about that Tony Khan video.
Come on, dude. There's always spots available. You can come on. Anthony, don't come on, but Marco, you can come on.
Whoa.
So,
Hey, yo.
I want to give one little tidbit though. So if you weren't taking that Tony Khan praising CM Punk as the best business acquisition and best this and best that, and then you look at MJF and go, that's a work. He's not leaving AEW. You don't see where the two correlate at all. You got Tony Khan with his new toy over here saying like, I'm making money. This is the best acquisition. He's done this, and this for the company. But where's that praise for MJF when he's been there the whole time?
That could make me think that it's more of a work as well, because you have these sort of storylines like the CM Punk. What got him like the pipe bomb was him versus the company, right? We've talked about this, and it's like the MJF versus the company can be the next big thing like that, because no one can see it coming, and I don't think no one will see it coming if it does blow off like this. And I think that'd be amazing, because like then it just like starts all this press. Like I don't know, it'd be cool for sure.
I think it's happening. It's brewing. You're gonna get an MJF pipe bomb at some point. And it's gonna be brutal. They're gonna have to bleep a lot of stuff out, I think.
Well, yeah, like I'm so shocked he showed up. Like the day, like that hour before the pay-per-view started, I was so scared. I was like, what's gonna happen? And then he came out, he did the plane thing.
Yeah, the airplane.
The plane thing was good.
Amazing.
Yep.
Amazing.
I still think it's a shoot. Anyways.
Hey, yo.
It's time to end the show. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to do a little shillbilly plug-in before we get the show over with. Marco, you're already starting with your plugs. Get them all out now.
Yeah, like I said, look out for the we have an episode out now. We did a preview of Double or Nothing. That was the whole show. We didn't do any figure talk, nothing like that. We dedicated the whole show to it. So if you want to listen to it, see how accurate we were with our picks. I think I was thinking I was probably 50% on a lot of them. I was hoping, obviously, Britt Baker and Adam Cole ruined my my pick process because I didn't think either one of them should. should have won, but that's another story.
I didn't think Britt should have won. That's for sure.
I mean, yeah, no, Samoa Joe should have. Whatever. Realistically, Samoa Joe would smash Adam Cole. Like, come on. Anyway, but yeah, so this week we're going to preview Money in the Bank, like we did here, as well as recap Double or Nothing. And obviously, there's a ton of figure news that came out, so we're going to be covering all that stuff. Definitely want to review the SummerSlam set that just came out with the this guy right here. Might be my favorite figure in the history of figures. Little Dominic from I believe it was I think it was SummerSlam. It was 2005.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, SummerSlam 2005. The custody for Dominic. So we actually get him in figure form, which is really, really special. But yeah, other than that, follow me on the Twitter machine at Chick-fil-A.
That's going to be the new thing. Whenever you say Twitter machines.
Then you can follow me at MVP Marco on IG. You can follow Sheena at Chick Foley Show. I'm Chick Foley on IG. Sorry. chickfoley.com. Join the group. Great group of people. Tom's there. If that's not enough for you to join, I mean.
Oh, I'm definitely not joining.
Tom and John, J-Bone are both
definitely not joining. Oh my god, you can insult me.
Jesus Christ, I think maybe we need a little work there.
If you want to join, we'll boot J-Bone and
beautiful. I'm there.
And Tom will be there. We'll all be happy. But yeah, that's it. That's it for me.
Nick Storm, plug your shit and let us know where we can find you on the tavern too.
Of course, yeah. You can see me every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time for Fig Night, baby. Like figures, like do you like wrestling? Fig Night. Do you like figures? Fig Night. And that's all the place for figures and reveals and stuff like that. This past weekend, we had Mike down on the floor at Double or Nothing in Vegas, talking all about the Fetish reveals. We just had My Damn Toys, easily probably the biggest name in wrestling figures right now, on Fig Night. Go back on the channel, we just did that earlier today. So it's a great fun time. And All Elite wrap-up, baby. I'm there sometimes when I give a shit, and then other times I'm not. But can I quickly give my RAWDOWN predictions for this? If that's possible?
Right ahead. I'll run you through the matches real quick.
Okay.
You won't be getting the title.
I'm not going to explain it. I'm not going to explain it.
Yeah, just give us your names, and you won't get a title if you win, because fuck all if we want another guy taking our title outside of the main three. But anyways, Austin Theory versus Ali.
I'd like Ali to win, but probably Theory.
Ezekiel and Kevin Owens.
Shit. They haven't had a match, have they?
No.
Maybe Ezekiel.
Okay. Bobby versus Omos and MVP handicap match.
Omos MVP.
We got a triple threat for the women's title.
Bianca, she just won it.
We have the Live Club, which they're being called now, and Judgment Day, aka the best stable of all time, better than House of Black.
Okay, dude. What is the Live Club canon? Is that real?
No, it's not real. People on Twitter just call it that, and I think it's so funny.
Also, look how airbrushed AJ Styles looks like.
I know, right? Oh my god,
that's so ridiculous. He's a beautiful model. Probably Judgment Day. Oh, shit. Did this one stump you guys as well?
These are all-star teams right here.
No, this was not hard for me at all. Come on now.
Judgment Day.
Good pick.
Yeah.
And then Seth and Cody, Hell in a Cell.
Cody has to win, but then Seth just looks like a bitch.
So you pick
Cody?
Have,
what, 70 matches on house shows? Yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
Cody.
That's true. Very, very true. But no one gives a shit about the house shows unless they're in New York.
I don't even remember what I picked for each match, but that's fine. I'm gonna win the title whether you like it or not. I'm gonna have my little figure title. I'm gonna hold it up, and it's gonna be the spinner belt. It's gonna be the spinner belt figure title version, and you're gonna like it.
Do they have a spinner belt that actually spins the figures?
Yeah. Yeah, they used to have it for the older elites, but they don't anymore because they're cheap. So
cheap bastards. Anyways, quick plug for me. You can find Independent Epicenter new videos coming out soon. I have one for Invictus Pro Wrestling I won't be doing a preview like I normally do, but I will be doing the post show, which I've started. Invictus Fallout. First episode was posted last week for TakeOver versus STP. You got to see my beautiful face, and I talked about some of the matches. And you had a nice, cool visual with the ring being taken down behind me. It's a really cool video. Please check it out if you haven't already. I will be doing one of those for United We Fight. I will not be there with the cool visual with the ring behind me, but I will be there in the studio to review the amazing show that we have ahead of us this Saturday with such matches as Ichiban going up against Ken Broadway. You have a huge six-pack scramble match happening. Edith Surreal is defending her title against Riley Shepard. Some fucking great banger matches. If you haven't gotten into the Invictus Pro Wrestling hype train, we're boarding off soon, so you better hop on while you can, because they're pretty dope. So check it out. It's on IWTV this weekend. They're doing some great stuff. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to hit the music, because we're about to get out of here. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in to yet another edition of the RAWDOWN. If you liked what you heard, and I know that you did, make sure to support the Turnbuckle Tavern any way you can, and that is, of course, by heading on over to theturnbuckletavern.com, where you can find all of our support systems, if you will. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Discord, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Pro Wrestling Tees,
TikTok,
and Teespring. I said TikTok like 50 times.
TikTok.
But you can support us in all of those places over at theturnbuckletavern.com. Join the community. Of course, if you listen to the flagship show on Wednesdays, you can call the tavern. Leave us a voicemail. Get your voice heard. 304-404-2004. That's 304-404-2004. Hear your message played on the flagship show. And last but certainly not least, we have merch. We've got the official RAWDOWN logo on some mugs, stickers, and some really cool t-shirts over at Teespring, theturnbuckletavern.com. You can find us there, and as well as prowrestlingtees.com/tavern for more specific some of your tavern favorites have their own shirts. Hollywood Tony, Boney Shivani, Boney Khan, MVP, even Nick Storm has a shirt for some reason, but we should also support Nick Storm every now and then. Regardless, folks, this has been another edition of the RAWDOWN. Make sure to join us next week when we will find out who the fuck won this RAWDOWN championship. And you know what? Because Tom isn't here, I'm going to put the title on the screen. There it is. The beautiful title.
Around my waist, actually, legit. Shoot around my waist.
Nick is not getting the title shot, nor is Ace. I saw his comments, pics. Fuck both of you. The title's coming home to one of us, and that person is gonna be me. It's gonna be me. It's gonna be me. It's gonna be me. Anyways, thank you all so much for tuning in. We will see you next week, but until then, take care. Spike your hair. Woo, woo, woo. Where the fuck's the outro?